Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns! Fucking gender ambiguity! Fucking current day Californian shit! Boring!
Jesus Christ.
This clip recently went viral. Who wants an intelligent conversation when we can have this?
Pronouns!
Another reason for us to retreat further into our political tribes and mutual hatred for one another. Hooray! I think having a rage tantrum on the internet is irresponsible. However, I also think that misrepresenting someone's argument is irresponsible. The conversations we seem to be having about the role of ideology in media is fucking childish, frankly, and it's not new. From social justice activism to neo-reactionaries to Gamergate, people have been screaming about shit they disagree with forever. And that's part of the problem. I'd like to ask you to consider that whether or not you agree with something is irrelevant in this case. We should be concerned about shoehorned ideological content, from the left if you're a lefty, or the right if you're a right-winger, or from the politically neutral. Shallow ideological babble helps nobody and hurts everyone. Let's talk about Black Mirror, or at least a bit. I still haven't really seen it because I hated the first two episodes so much that I didn't bother to watch any more. In the first episode, a member of the British royal family is kidnapped, and the kidnapper wants the Prime Minister to fuck a pig on live television, which is like a live stream, just so you guys know. At first, the public is more or less behind him until a severed finger is sent to the press. This causes the entire nation, collectively, to bend like wet fucking tissue paper to the obviously evil coercion and cravenly accept national humiliation at the hands of a single sociopathic thug. In fact, at the end, the public is so keen to see this happen that the streets are clear because everyone is either at home or in a pub watching the highest public office of their state be permanently defiled. People watch movies, plays, and read novels because we have a psychological need to watch representations of ourselves. I'm sure there are other reasons, but setting those aside, human beings are not self-aware. We're not transparent to ourselves. If we were, we wouldn't need the field of psychology or sociology or anything. We'd simply know who we are and what we're doing. The truth is, we have no idea what we're doing, and it's all that we can do to keep up with the trends of our behavior with a constantly updating theory. Artists watch and display those behaviors in dramatic representations. This is the primary way that we collectively form our self-concept. People need to see depictions of what we are and what we do, for self-understanding, for social cohesion, for a theory of mind, for a theory of the world. This is a core psychological need, and because of that, it's morally incumbent, I think, on storytellers to represent humanity accurately. This issue is at the core of the silly debate that arises whenever someone complains that a film about aliens or superheroes or whatever is unrealistic. The argument that comes back is, you're complaining about realism in a movie about aliens, and this is a really stupid argument. Look, we only care about human drama because we care about watching human responses. I am happy to accept any premise, including magic, aliens, superpowers, whatever, but the human element needs to be honestly human in response to whatever context. When we're watching a movie, we're watching a theory about human behavior regardless of context. In fact, wacky contexts just give us a window into exploring aspects of humanity. That's what drama is. That's a fucking point. And as a dramatist, if you fuck this up, you are poisoning the well. You're polluting our collective mind with your bullshit, broken, deluded theory about human beings and how they act. Whether that theory is overly cynical or overly positive, either one is a moral failing in my opinion. You are telling a lie because you are doing a shitty job of your task to accurately represent human behavior and show it to your fellow man. And that brings us back to Black Mirror and Great Britain. The English are people who were bombed into fucking oblivion in World War II, and it was from that context where the phrase "keep calm and carry on" emerged. These are the people who now line their fucking streets with the stretchers that were used to carry the broken bodies of their brothers and sisters that were maimed in the Blitz. These are the people, when their boys were trapped on the goddamn shores of Dunkirk, that took to defenseless fishing boats and ferried people back to England for 9 fucking days. And when they were done with that, they came back for as many French as they could before the end. This is the England that cravenly accepts immediate submission? Are you fucking kidding me? Here's what's happening in this situation. The writers of the show had a cynical belief about people, and instead of representing humanity accurately, they created an abomination of a reality, like a god-forsaken womb that could sustain the same non-humans that existed in their cynical fantasies. This abomination of a world is defined with bizarre, distorted people and contradictions because it wasn't an attempt to represent the truth. It's an attempt to force an ideological theory into existence. And let me add a caveat here. I am aware that the name of the show is Black Mirror. That is a mirror that implies some distortion, one that reflects back our darker aspects. But frankly, fuck that shit. Showing the very real dark side of humanity given a certain situation is valuable. Showing a false humanity is not. It's bullshit that pollutes our collective theory of self. Now look, nobody's perfect, me included. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that I'm full of little confusions and resentments, distortions of all kinds. But here's the key. When you go to make some creative work, it's incumbent on you to reflect on what you're doing. Here's how I try to look at it. Our latest game, The Last Year of Nostalgaia, is about a world too focused on nostalgia, and as a consequence, it's collapsing back into the past. When I started the project, it came out of a similarly cynical place. As a consumer, I was a bit bored with the wave of pixel art that was dominating and still largely dominates the indie space. And so, I thought it would be funny to make a satirical game shitting on my industry for their obsession with the past. A bad feeling grew in me as I began laying this out. I felt like a dick. This wasn't me. The truth is, I don't hate pixel art, and I don't begrudge those who use it. And I'm nostalgic too. So what do I believe about nostalgia exactly? What is its value and proper position in our lives? Is there power in the past? Actually, come to think of it, maybe we're obligated to look back into the past and continually extract its wisdom. Maybe nostalgia contains the key to our salvation. But still, my first intuition wasn't wrong exactly. Sometimes nostalgia can turn regressive and stultified, and therein lies the problem I had with it. This is how a shallow idea becomes a healthy one that reflects reality, by working through it, by challenging yourself through the medium of your artwork. I'm not trying to hold myself and my team up as artistic geniuses here. Look, whether you think my game is great or stupid, my point is this. The art that you're making is a living thing that you should reflect on and struggle to make more true. The struggle for truth, if engaged honestly, will burn away your prejudices. And I believe, as an artist, you have a responsibility to do that. Because what's the fucking alternative? Well, the alternative is you release into society a hasty vomiting up of your unprocessed judgments and traumas, and I simply reject the idea that that is somehow noble. Even if what you have to say is heretical, inflammatory, or destructive, I think you have a responsibility to critically engage with your own output before you release it into the public. I believe this is the nature of moral labor. Any idiot can follow moral edicts and imagine themselves moral, but that isn't morality. That's immorality. It's unreflective participation in fucking moralistic memes. And that brings us full circle back to our video.
I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier.
Yes?
So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head up there.
You're a dude.
My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance.
Uh-huh.
The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place.
Yeah.
I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC...
I'm not going to weigh in on this particular topic because I haven't really played enough Starfield yet. I don't really know the context. But I can tell you this. I've had a moment, more times than I can count, where I can tell what's coming is an obtuse moralistic meme. And more often than not, I am sadly correct. Artists are keen to shove moralistic ideas into their art for simplistic reasons like representation. But those ideas often aren't critically engaged with in the way I mentioned before. Look, For this particular topic, whatever side of the trans debate you're on, you should not like hasty moralistic memes because they pollute us with a sort of superficial relationship to real moral issues. The regurgitation of moralistic memes is not morality. In fact, it's generally the domain of psychopaths.
This is what happens when you work to change things, and first they think you're crazy, then they fight you, and then all of a sudden you change the world. Change the world.
Cynical people and corporations are constantly cloaking themselves in superficial moral memes to present the illusion of being righteous leaders. So which one of these is Starfield in this particular case? Well, honestly, I don't know yet. Are they deeply and critically engaging with this stuff? Are they offering a nuanced take on a complicated subject? If so, well, great, good for them. Or maybe they're simply hoping to gain the glossy social veneer from appearing to be like that brave piece of art on the right side of history.
Pronouns!
Because if so, that isn't moral, it's sociopathic. You might disagree. You might think that superficial memes, if they're coming from the correct moral team, are important because we need to put the right ideas out there and force normalization. How's that working out for you? Is your propaganda working?
Future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part. I didn't do fucking shit!
Is it changing hearts and minds? Or is it just resulting in more
Fucking current day Californian shit! Pronouns!
We don't need superficiality. We don't need sociopathic moral whitewashing. And we don't need angry screaming. We need artists who will wrestle with their goddamn demons. At least that's what I think. If you agree, make sure to like and subscribe because, right or wrong, that's what I am at least going to attempt. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one.